How are you doing, my friend? Doing pretty damn good today. Headed into the office, got to take some time, spent about an hour today at the gym, which was really nice. Finally starting to feel better, so that is great. Thanks for all of your guys' prayers. It's starting to pay off. Hey, I know I started a little bit late. I had a phone call, and I thought it was Wells Fargo. I had applied for a loan recently, but it wasn't them. It was a solicitor that never picked up, so I apologize. I started a minute late. Anyway, I want to go over how to properly dispute a collection. Sorry, I had a little piece of bacon stuck in my teeth. This is not edited. It's live. It's raw. Love it or like it, leave it, whatever. All right. So how do you properly dispute a collection on your credit report? There's lots of different tactics, lots of different ways that you can do this. There's a million different ways to do it, but there's a proper way to do it that makes you, that will make you more successful. All right. So depending on what type of collection, the most common collection that we see is medical collections. And medical collections are really fairly easy to get off of your credit report, especially now if they're new medical collections, because as long as you pay, or as long as your insurance company pays, then they have to remove the collection. So it's pretty easy to get a medical collection off. You know, as you know, I was hospitalized in February with sepsis, pneumonia, and a blood clot in my right lung. And I spent some time on my back, about 6 weeks total. But just yesterday, I got a collection letter saying they're going to send me collections because, you know, I haven't paid the bill. Well, they haven't billed my insurance company. And I've gone to the hospital twice now with my insurance card, and the last time I went, they just said, hey, we don't bill insurance companies. They said, we don't bill your insurance company because in the past we've billed them and they never paid us, which is ridiculous, right? So I called my insurance company. They're like, send me the bill. So I sent the bill to my insurance company, and yesterday I get this collection letter. So I call the collection company, and they're like, yeah, you never paid us. I'm like, well, the hospital never billed my insurance. I sent the bill, so I called my insurance company, find out what's going on. They're like, the bill doesn't have the diagnostic codes. They don't have the service codes. They don't have the EIN number, and they didn't have a fax number. So there's 4 things that insurance companies require on a super bill in order to pay the bill. Well, the hospital didn't do it, so the insurance company's like, we're not going to pay you. This is pretty common. This is a pretty common problem. If you have some of these medical collections on your credit report and it's prior to 2018, then they don't necessarily have to delete them when you pay it. So it makes it a little bit more tricky. But here's what you want to do when you dispute. And with FDCPA, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, you only have 1 year. Now that is it's been upheld by two circuit courts. The last circuit court just denied it, ruled with the collection company, and now it's going to the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, on whether or not it's 1 year from when they assign the account to collections or 1 year from when you first discover the account. And 2 of the circuit courts said it's when you discover it. The third circuit court said it's when they actually put it on your credit report. So you go a year, you don't check your credit. Sorry, you can't do anything. You can't sue them now. Even if what they're doing violates the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, it's illegal because you didn't dispute it immediately. You waived your rights. Now, how jacked up is that? But that is the way it is. So how do you dispute a medical collection? Well, the first thing you got to do is you really want to look at the dates. You want to look at the open date and the service date. They usually won't have a service date on a medical collection on a credit report, but they're supposed to put the open date as the service date. So if you went to the hospital on February 1st and they assigned it to a collection company May 1st, generally the collection company will put the open date as May 1st. That, my friend, violates the Fair Credit Report Act and technically could violate the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act once you dispute it. Now, why does it violate it? Well, they just added 3 months to the statute of limitations on their reporting. That's why it's a violation. That's why it's a big deal. Let's say that you don't pay that collection and the hospital a year from now assigns that debt to another collection company, one that's more successful at collecting because maybe they use more harassment and more threatening voicemails. And so they're more successful. So the insurance company or the hospital goes with a new collection company. And now they say that it was open in July 2018. Now I'm fast forwarding a little bit because I started with February 2017 because that's when I was in the hospital. But now they say 2019. That's another violation, all right? Because they just re-aged it another year. And that's not fair to you and I. See, the statute of limitations is 7 years since first delinquency, or in a hospital or doctor, it's when you actually went to the doctor. So if you went in February, the open date needs to say February. Does that make sense? So that's one of the first things that I dispute. Now, you could get really advanced and you could go into HIPAA stuff and verification and validation and so on and so forth. We generally don't do that. And there's a reason that we don't do that. We used to do it. All right. So I know all the tricks with sending certified mail with no letter inside the envelope. Yeah, there are companies that do that. Yes, I used to do that myself when I was an amateur. All right. Yes, I used to do HIPAA violations when I really didn't know what I was doing. Yes, I do debt validation when I really didn't know what I was doing. But now what I do is I simply dispute the open date. That's all I'm disputing. I'm not disputing I never went to the doctor. I'm not disputing I don't owe them money. I simply dispute the date that they say it was opened. And the date, they'll also put the date of verification or when they last validated it, or they'll put the date of last payment. If it's a collection because of a medical bill, most likely you never made a payment, so there is no last payment. It's the day you went to the doctor. So what we do at Fortress is we will dispute that open date. Now we're going to meet with you as a client and say, when did you go to the doctor? Well, I don't remember. It was sometime 4 years ago. Well, it says last year. Oh yeah, I went to the doctor last year too. All right, so we got to like Sherlock Holmes it through and really ask them questions so it reminds them of when they went to the doctor or the hospital. Then we say, do you have any documentation? Yeah, I have my discharge paperwork. Yeah, I got my bill. So then we compare that to the open date. And if it's not the same date, that's what we dispute. We used to just try to get the collection deleted, and that's fine. If that's all you want to do is get the collection deleted, dispute using HIPAA, dispute using validation, dispute using verification, and all the other advanced tactics that you probably seen me on stage talking about 7 years ago. We don't do that anymore. We dispute the date it was opened. And we wait for them to come back and send a letter that says we verified the information to be correct. So we dispute. Dear Mr. Collection, I recently looked at my credit report and you're saying that I was sent to collection. The date that I went to the hospital was 3/2/2017, and that doesn't match up with my records. Could you please confirm this is correct? Maybe I'm wrong. After all, I did go to the doctor. Maybe I'm wrong. After all, I was hospitalized. Can you please verify and validate the date of service? Sincerely, Rondi Lambeth. With my IDs, driver's license, social security card, utility bill, phone number, address, and signature. And then we send that to them, certified mail. Signature required. And then we wait. and we wait about 45 days. In 45 days, we should have received a response back from that collection company. And 9 times out of 10, it will state, we have verified this information to be accurate. And that's what we're looking for. We want them to say it was accurate. And then we bring Thor's hammer down on them, otherwise known as an FDCPA or FCRA lawsuit, because we asked for them to verify the information that the way they were reporting it was accurate, knowing full well it was not accurate. And they come back and they verified it to be accurate. See, when we write our letters, we're very passive. We're very passive and we're very uneducated. We write the letters as if we were in fourth, fifth grade, which most people have like a 6th grade education when you actually do some research on it. They read at a 6th grade level. We simply dispute it as someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. Someone in a position of weakness. And we wait for the wolves to take the bait. And 9 times out of 10 they do. And then we follow up. Our attorney writes a letter. We send that out. Certified mail. Sometimes we just immediately file a lawsuit. Because when you do FDCPA and FCRA litigation, you have to file a lawsuit. You can't send a letter saying you intend to sue them if you've never sued, if you never intend to sue them. It's one of the fastest ways to be disbarred. And so sometimes we just sue them right off the bat. We don't even give them a warning shot over the bow. It's simply a lawsuit. Now, what do you think happens with that? 9 times out of 10, they fall for the trap, the bait, right? We're not the ones breaking the law. We're simply asking them to follow the law, knowing for the sake of profit and greed, they won't follow the law. And 9 times out of 10, they won't. So now, yes, we could have got it deleted in the first 30 days if we really wanted to. But I would rather get my clients $3,000 to $4,000 in cash, right? So they can take that money and maybe pay the doctor. Take that money and pay us for the rest of the credit repair. Take that money so they can go to community college or trade school so they can improve their skills or increase their knowledge so they can get a better job. Or they take that money and use it for seed money to start their own company. See, I think it would be irresponsible of me just to try to get it deleted. I think that would be irresponsible and selfish of me just to get it deleted. Because if that's all I was trying to do was make that $100, because that's what we charge is $100 to delete an item. And knowing I can make $100 fast cash, but it's going to cost my client 10 grand. Would that be fair? Would that be the right thing to do for the client? No. Now, why don't most credit repair companies do it that way? Why do they charge the money up front? Why do they charge a monthly fee? Because they really don't care about you, or they really don't know what they're doing, or both. They don't care about you and they don't know what they're doing. That's why they charge money up front. That's why they charge money every month, regardless of results. I don't work that way. I care about you, care about your family, and I want to earn the money, and I want to get you the best possible results that I can get. Now, on that 1 out of 10 times, many times, it does come off. The collection company is like, man, we better delete this because we know we're wrong. We don't know the open date because we bought it off a spreadsheet. Let's go ahead and delete it. In that case, we bill our client $100. Everybody wins. The client's happy. We get paid. We're happy. The collection company, they move on. They don't get sued. It's a win-win-win. But in case they don't follow the law, we are there waiting with our big hammer or my big axe. I'm waiting for them to break the law. And when they do, we're going to make sure they pay for it and make them think twice about the next time they try to break the law and abuse someone. All right. I hope you learned a lot today on how to dispute a collection the right way. Now, you can do this on your own. You don't need to hire someone like me. I just told you how to do it. Dispute the open date. Make sure it's inaccurate. Send it certified mail. Signature required. Send it out. If they don't delete it, get in touch with me, and maybe I can introduce you to my attorney, and maybe he'll take your case on. Usually he will if you disputed it the right way. You sent it certified mail. They signed for it. You waited 45 days. Sometimes, though, you'll dispute it the wrong way, and we got to start over, which is no big deal. It actually, if it's within the 1 year anyway, actually works in our benefit that if you dispute it the wrong way, because now when we go and send the second letter, they just completely ignore it. Now, they have to respond to every letter you send. So they'll ignore it the second time, which is good for us, right? It's good for you. So if you need your credit fixed, if you got collections or whatever, late payments, charge-offs, judgments, foreclosures, short sales, bankruptcies, tax liens, whatever it is on your credit that is hurting you, harming you, holding you back from achieving your dreams and moving to the next level, if you want a professional work on it, someone who's going to charge you after the fact, get in touch with me on my website, fortresscreditpro.com, fortresscreditpro.com. I did see a couple comments here. My good friend Joel Bauer, thank you so much. I got this tie. Joel was asking where I got this beautiful pink tie. I got this in Bangkok, Thailand, I believe. Or it was on that ties.com. I can't remember if it was this one I got in Bangkok or ties.com. Anyway, thank you so much. What's the number to the office? It's 1-800-475-7267. That's 1-800-475-7267. Jason, put it in for me, please. 1-800-475-7267 or fortresscreditpro.com.